right when Jonathan secures my back, right, I need to recognize which arm's over and which arm's under. This is the choking arm, it's over, and this arm's under, okay? You put your hooks in. So I know that there's a threat of the choke because he has an arm over my shoulder. And so I want to make sure I get to those hands pretty quickly. So I'll go to the hands as soon as I'm done talking. I'm going to go to the hands, but then I want to roll to the underhook side. Right now that's this arm, okay? I'm going to roll to the underhook side. I'm going to try to win head position at the same time. So what I don't want to do, number one, is this. Okay, and he wants me to go there. So I'm going to have to avoid that. Don't want to go to that side. I don't want his hand in my collar. I don't want to fall to the choking side, okay, or the overhook side. He can choke me on either side. So I fight the hands and I go to the underhook side. But when I roll, you can see there, I'm not just going to fall over like this. Okay. When I roll, I'm going to try to pinch that arm down a little bit on his underhook. And I'm going to try to dive, not like trying to spike his head in the floor. I'm just going to try to dive forward, drop my shoulder, and then kind of shoot my hips underneath me. So I end up getting head position on him, and I can start to work my back to the mat. I want to get as much of my back to the mat as possible, and I'm essentially using the mat to scrape him off of me, okay? So I don't want to just roll to my side. It's not going to scrape him off. So think of it like you're trying to scrape the person off using the mat. Okay. So again, as I roll, I want to make sure I'm trying to protect my collar. I don't want him in this side over here. I'm rolling down, but then spinning, so I'm scraping him off. Notice I have head position here. I did not allow his head to stay under mine. If his head stays under mine and his hand gets in the collar, he can choke me on the side with the bow and arrow choke. Go ahead. Okay. So I'm trying to get as much of my back to the mat as possible, and I'm also trying to get head position on him, not let his head under mine. That's something that's really important to understand on back escapes, is that if my head, put your head on this side, just put your head over here, is over here, even if he has an overhook, he can't choke me. Okay? Go ahead and choke me. Keep your head there. Put your head on the other side. Okay, now he can choke me. You guys understand? So that battle for head position is super important when you're considering defending yourself when someone's on your back. And so what I'm trying to do is, as soon as he takes my back, dive into an ideal position to start my escape. So I'm diving kind of down at an angle, trying to get as much of my back on the mat as possible and fight for head position at the same time, going to the underhook side. Here, defending my neck, diving down, shoulder to the mat. Watch this, not allowing my head to come up, because if it does, his head goes under. My head's down, and I pull my right shoulder down and back here. So now I have kind of a 90-degree angle from my torso to his torso. At this point, he has to make a decision. It's like, is he going to stay there and just hang on? Or is he going to try to come up top? Okay. His best bet is to come up top. What I want to look for initially, if he tries to hang on, is get this arm inside and between my head and his, and start to do a little scissors with my legs. And now I can get back into his guard. Now we're going to look at multiple ways that might go down. Like he might climb to the top. But initially, I'm just going to pummel my arm inside and spin back into his guard. So Jonathan can do the arm drag again, and I'll do the back escape. Does that make sense, guys? So I want you to work that option first, where we pummel our arm inside. Between your head and theirs, kind of like crossface. You know, your right arm becomes like a crossface, and then you do a little hip rotation. So when I come up, hipping out a little bit, scissoring my legs, and then bridging up off my shoulder, getting my hips in the air so I can square up back into their guard. Let's give that a shot. 1, 2.